Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome. Thank you, Chris. Thank you. Are we good? Yeah. Thank you for putting this on. Great to see you guys here. And look, a special welcome to the guys from Invest Minas. You know, I think Chris said it well, and I think the other guys have said it well, that you can't underestimate the value of having a supportive government, okay? Now, I don't want to sit here and bash Western Australia. Maybe I will, but you know, it's funny how we get into Brazil, and we've bought 3 projects in Brazil, in Lithium Valley. You know, highly prospective for lithium, close to Colina and Sigma. We'll talk about that in a sec. But you know what? I feel disloyal in some ways to Western Australia. This country and WA, it's a great state, and it certainly has been for me in my career, right? But you know, when I tell you that for every dollar I spend in Brazil, if I want to do the same amount of work, it's going to cost me $3 or $4. It's an easy discussion, right? We know what we need to do. So it's not knocking guys here in Australia, but you know, us making the move into Brazil. And I think that you know, in this downturn that we've seen, it's easy to probably step back. You know, just go into your shell a little bit. Capital, you know, conservation. We've all been there. I get it, guys. For us as a business, it was completely the opposite. You know, we looked at it as, what's the opportunity? You know, how do we take advantage of that? And Minas Gerais and Brazil and lithium is certainly that. We still believe in the lithium thematic, you know, and I think that this is the best place to be doing it on the planet. All right, what we're going to do, how does this work? Do I do that? Which one is it? Got it. Let me ask you a question. When I say Brazil, what do you guys think? You know, I've had a long association with the country for, you know, many years, and there's some people laughing. Probably don't say it too loud what you were saying, but I've had a close association with the country for many, many years, and you know, I think that as a jurisdiction for Australia, it's still probably not, you know, on our radar yet. There's been some successes and some failures there, and of course we understand the iron ore industry, and more recently we look at the lithium sector, we look at the success of Latin, of course, Sigma, of course, fantastic. But I think that when we, you know, maybe this is what we think. I've got a nice picture there, JP, Romario, 1994 World Cup. You like that? Good. You know, and Brazil is all these things, okay? It is a country that's culturally very strong. A lot of history there, but there is massive, massive opportunity, you know, in Brazil as a whole. So all of these things are not wrong. They're not wrong, but maybe we should think about it a little bit differently. I've always looked at it as a superpower. Maybe it's still emerging, but, you know, I think if you look at some of these stats, you know, look at the growth in GDP. We look at the fact that it's the largest economy in Latin America, 10th largest in the world, member of BRICS, of course. You know, there's a youthful workforce there. That presents opportunities for innovation in itself. You know, we see this potential in emerging markets, renewable energy, you know, mining and technology. We've spoken today about Minas Gerais. Correct, general mines, that's what it means. It's a great mining state, and it is comparable with Western Australia. It is comparable. Is it better? Certainly from a cost and permitting perspective it is. I think there's significant scale and opportunity within that state, and you know, this is part of us talking here today. If we look at the GDP ranking of the country, it's 10th. But I look at the GDP per capita ranking, because that's the gap that Brazil can close. And when you've got a population of 220 million, and you've got a supportive government, and you've got this primary industry in the way that we have in Brazil, Brazil really is, it's a powerhouse, okay? It really is a superpower. So we love it as a destination for mining. And if we look at this chart on the right, let's start moving the discussion to lithium a bit now. The growth of electric vehicles in Brazil over the last few years has been huge. You know, when you go there, there's always another BYD dealership, or the Uber is always BYD, right? This tells me two things. One, the government is supportive of this change, okay? That's really important. You know, it's supportive of infrastructure. It's supportive of this thematic as a whole, okay? And two, it tells me that there's an emerging middle class. And there certainly is. You know, when I was first in Brazil over 23, 24 years ago, it was very, very different to the country that I see today. One of the things I notice, you know, when you go around the cities, people have got like dogs and that as pets. This is a great indicator of wealth, right? People are driving electric vehicles. So Brazil is evolving and it's growing. And for all these reasons here, you know, rich in mineral resources, geological diversity, we can go on, okay? Highly skilled workforce. What I love for Brazil is the downstream potential, okay? I think there's a lot of opportunity here for manufacturing, processing, and with a country the size it is, with that population, one of the largest on the planet, not only can Brazil export to the world, it can also consume. So it's not like having a population of 20, 30 million. There's critical mass here and huge growth potential. So let's have a look at lithium. This is taken from S&P Global. I think it was published in August, but so it's all pretty relevant. Spodumene exports up 64% in the first half of this year. And if we look at the forecast, the charts go to the right and up, which I've been reliably informed is a good thing. Something we haven't seen much of in lithium lately, but you know, this pitches Brazil as being a global player in the lithium space. You know, in the next 5 years, the forecast is that spodumene exports will increase up to 5 times. So these are all major things. There's a quote there from you, JP, as well. I think that if we look at this $3.9 billion to $5.8 billion by 2030, if we look at the prospectivity of Lithium Valley, maybe that number's higher. Maybe that's conservative. I don't know. We'll see in 4 or 5 years' time, right? But it's great to see the government supporting investment and, I guess, being aggressive and proactive about assisting us to invest in Minas. So it's all very well to talk about these benefits. How do we take advantage of it as a company? How does Lightning Minerals benefit from this? A few key points here. Project value proposition. You know, we've certainly taken advantage of the downturn in the lithium market. We've managed to sign some really good deals, which are low risk, high return. That's a function of the market, but you know, the fact that Lithium Valley is so prospective gave us the option and gave us the opportunity to position ourselves there. Cost and speed of works, I spoke about that before. For every dollar we spend there, if I want to do the same work here in Australia, in Western Australia, say $3, say $4, okay? These are early stage works we're doing right now. As Tony said there, you know, you've got to get on the ground, do the work, ground reconnaissance, geophysics, kick some rocks, all these sort of things. That's critical to defining drill targets, but it's pleasing to see the speed at which we can do it for the cost we can do it. Now, you guys who know me, I always have aspirations, right? And I think that even though we're in exploration, we should think about what it's like to operate a mine, develop a mine, build a mine. And if we look at the cost of production in Lithium Valley, Chris, $440, $450 a tonne for Sigma. $450 a tonne, $450. So let me ask you a question. At that cost, is the lithium price really that bad? Reg, I'm sure you've got an opinion on that, because I remember raising $18 million when it was about $6,000. But, you know, the returning to those highs perhaps is unrealistic. And it doesn't need to be that. We need to understand this. You know, this is about realising what makes money. And at $1,000, $800, $1,200, you know, a lot of projects are printing money, particularly in the Lithium Valley, okay? And we look at scale. Chris, you mentioned that, you know, 120, 150 million tonnes for Latin. I can see that. You know, we've already got Sigma, 110 million tonnes. You know, there's multiple projects which are in the tens of millions of tonnes. And they've all been discovered in 5 years, 6 years, something like that. Most of them in the last 3. That tells me the region we're looking at is one of the most prospective regions for lithium on this planet. And local IP. When you move into a new region, a new area, it's great to have that local knowledge. And, you know, our guys on the ground have made discoveries in Lithium Valley, okay? I think having guys who are tuned in to what they're seeing on the ground, assisting us with targeting, prioritisation, because that's all it comes down to, really. It's only about prioritising your targets. That's a massive thing for us as a business, okay? So all of these things are working in our favour. I'm not going to labour this point. This is more of a generic sort of slide, but what does it say in orange? Let me read it. We believe in the lithium thematic and its longevity. That's something I've always said. I've never changed my view on that. It's bloody hard as a junior company in this space over the past 2 years. You know, when we listed 2 years ago, we raised $7 million and we got interest for, I think, 41 million. That probably told me we were somewhere up the top, okay? But, you know, if we believe in policy-driven change, we believe that governments are supporting what we're doing globally, which they are, this thematic is for the long term. And just because we had a couple of years of fairly protracted lows, you know, I think it's about to turn around. And we look at a lot of the M&A activity, of course, with Pilbara and Latin and Rio and Arcadian, and maybe there's another big deal to come before Christmas, we'll see. Whether that signifies the bottom of the market price-wise, I don't know, but it tells me that there's some very big players who have a lot of confidence in this space, and that's good enough for me. All right, on to Minas. I think all you guys have pretty much said everything there is to say about Minas Gerais. But I mean, it's the world's fifth largest exporter of lithium in 2023 and growing, okay? you guys invest Minas, you're supporting investment, you're keen for us to come there and develop these projects with you. And as I've said, there's huge expertise in that state. Think of it like Western Australia from a mining perspective. A lot of highly skilled personnel in Brazil, which certainly makes our job a lot easier. Here it is, Lithium Valley, colloquially known as Lithium Valley. To give it its proper name, the Eastern Brazilian Pegmatite Province. I'm not going to go through all these points because we pretty much discussed it, but lightning minerals, right in the middle here in blue, just south of Latin Resources, north of Sigma. We picked our projects up in June. We've got 3 assets there. We'll talk about that in a sec. We started work there in July. Testament of how quickly we can get on the ground and do things, okay? Hosted in that Salinas formation, the lithology, which hosts all these lithium resources across that region. I think that having analogues is really important. Having people we can look to, we should be aspirational. I look to what Chris has done at Latin. Fantastic job. Fantastic job. Over a few years. I mean, unheard of, certainly in this country, that you can do it that quickly. That is also testament to the prospectivity of the region as well, I should add. But it's a great place to be doing business. So there's a lot for us to learn from. We've got a lot of people there we can look at. I don't believe in first mover advantage. I believe in second mover advantage. So for us to be in probably what I see is the most prospective lithium jurisdiction on the planet, okay, and it's low cost. And there's 3 key points. It's underexplored, it's underdiscovered, and from a mining perspective, it's underdeveloped. So there's a lot more to come, a lot more discoveries here to come, I feel, across this region. All right, let's have a quick look at our projects. So we acquired these projects in June, the first 2, and Esperança we acquired in August. We got on the ground pretty quickly in July. We like what we see there. We like the lithologies we see. We've got some clear lithium mineralisation. We're in a lithium system, okay? You need to get on the ground. You need to kick over some rocks. You need to do that early stage work. And that is soil sampling, geophysics, ground reconnaissance, drill targeting. By the end of this year, we want to get to the point where we've got some good drill targets, and then we can look at drilling those early 2025. But we're starting to see some positive results, from the region already. And, it's pleasing when the geology sticks out the ground, which it does in this region. It's clear indicators. You can walk around, trip over stuff. And I think that I'll never say geology and exploration is easy. Tony, you're looking at me funny. But it does make it easier, particularly with the guys that we have on the ground there with that expertise. So really, really good. Up until Christmas, we've got a lot of news flow coming from these early stage works, okay? So put us on your ticker, give me a call. If you want to do a meeting, that's great, we can do that. I'd love to take you through it. In the interest of time, we're going to race through today. I really feel there is potential here for a discovery, another discovery in Lithium Valley. I'll just take you through this. This is an announcement we released a couple of weeks ago. This is about our Canabrava prospect. And, this region, the western region of Canabrava, was actually one of our first primary targets, okay? That's why this announcement's already been released. But what we can see, elevated lithium in soil, up to 113 ppm Li. Background is 40 to 50. That's good. Another great thing here, outcropping pegmatites, as we spoke about. You can see things. As you guys know, maybe one of these things isn't definitive, but when you overlay 2 or 3 things, that's where the opportunity lies. So with regard to this tenement, the guys are doing some infill soil sampling now, and they're going to extend this out to the east as well. This is just one target, as I said. A lot of our other assays and results will be coming in between now and Christmas. So, you know, it's a very busy few weeks for us coming up. I won't go through each of these points, but these pictures, but I think my point here is that we're in a lithium system. They don't call it the Lithium Valley for no reason. And, you know, we're in the correct lithologies, we're in that Salinas formation, which is, you know, which hosts all the resources in the area. So, you know, back to my original point, when you can see mineralisation, you can see outcrops, you can see evidence of previous mining, that certainly excites us and certainly gives us a starting point of where we can start our work and what we need to do.